2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Hey. If you're listening to this, this is a podcast exclusive, something we're going to start trying to do, put out a little content that's not live. But you can find this archived on the YouTube channel at some point. But we're here. We're drunk on the fills tonight, drunk on broad. Jay, short time no see. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, listen, we're it's all good in this neighborhood right here, brother. It's good to be on here talking. We haven't talked Phils in a long time, so I know I've caught a little bit of your Phil's takes on the morning show with Phil. So curious to get a little Phillies content up on the channel, and just get rolling, man. We got it. They've been playing well. Coming out of the All-Star break, going into the All-Star break, they were playing really well. And then they come out of the All-Star break, they drop 3 to the Cubs. Then they flip back, then they take a 4-game set in Pittsburgh. They're 7 out of the last 9 they've won. Just talk to me about where you're at with the Phils.
I mean, I'm at the point where it's like we obviously are starved for a playoff, just a playoff appearance.
Right.
It's been a long time coming. Obviously, going into the year, I was super high and super stoked on, the off-season moves. However, I was a little still concerned about the pitching staff, and obviously, although the pitching staff as a whole unit has done very well, most of that has come on, the wheels of obviously Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. Ranger Suarez has been okay. I don't think he's as good as he was last year. I think we've seen some regression there. And Zach Eflin, I've never been a Zach Eflin guy. A lot of people I don't know what people see in Zach Eflin. I think he's at best a 5th starter, and he really hasn't been healthy for the longest time. It's been a while. So, and then obviously Kyle Gibson, who we got last year at the trade deadline. But, the crazy thing is Kyle Gibson and Zach Eflin are both free agents. So, right. That's why at the deadline I was kind of hoping that we would have got a guy that was controllable, because I looked ahead to next year's crop of free agent pitchers, and there's really not any big name guys.
No, there's not.
That being said, I think looking at the moves that the Phillies just recently made at the deadline, I have to be happy. I mean, obviously, I think the Padres won the trade deadline. I mean, they got Juan Soto and they got Josh Hader. I mean,
and they got Josh Bell.
Well, yeah, but I consider Josh Bell kind of a throw-in, but
he'll contribute.
Oh yeah. I think the guy that you're obviously looking at realistically, probably the biggest. If you look at the landscape of Major League Baseball right now, Juan Soto's probably one of 2 generational guys, like, in the younger tier, which I would consider him and Ronald Acuna. You could throw Fernando Tatis probably in there. So it's crazy that Padres have 2 of the 3. Obviously Mike Trout, but Mike Trout's a little bit older. That's why I'm not really putting him in that category. I'm talking about the new age of players.
Yeah, and listen, hit between him and Ohtani being quote unquote on the market, right? That part kind of blew me away. Not surprised that the package that they got back for Juan Soto was, essentially, 5 elite level, all-star level caliber projected caliber players. So but anybody that got Soto was going to win that trade market. I was really surprised at the Cardinals not, that they held on to one of their top tier prospects, but that top tier prospect in the major leagues is batting in like the 230s. And I know it's a short set to kind of make a judgment on, but to me, if I have the chance to get Juan Soto and the only guy that's holding me up is a guy that's batting 230 right now, I'm sorry, but you got to pack your bags, brother. You got to go.
Yeah, but no, and I agree with you, but I'm not so sure that was the only thing holding it up. I kind of heard rumors that they wanted Halsey, who right now is basically the Cardinals closer. He was an all-star. He's a guy that hits 103 on the radar gun. Like,
man,
I don't know if I'm giving up pitching guys when I have the That's one thing about the Cardinals that's pretty insane is that every single year they just churn out pitchers and they're
one
guys
after another after another.
Throw 100 miles an hour every year. They bring up at least two guys in that realm. But yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think we both agree overall the Padres probably won the deadline. But talking about the local team, the Phillies, I think overall I gave it a B+. That was my initial grade that I gave the Phillies for getting the three guys they got in Noah Syndergaard, David Robertson, and
Brandon Marsh.
Obviously, Noah Syndergaard, they gave up prospect / guy that's been in the league now 2.5 years, Mickey Moniak, and we've seen. To me, Mickey Moniak wasn't doing anything else here in Philly. Like, I think he's a guy that if he's going to do anything ever, he needed to change the scenery.
Truly. I really do think that he was a young guy that came up that had his struggles and really never could ever put all the pieces together. And I think maybe being out on the West Coast, he's a West Coast, correct me, he's a West Coast kid, right?
Yeah, he is.
He was a California kid, right? So he goes back West Coast, goes to an Angels lineup where he's going to play a lot. And listen, they're going to find out what they got. But I think to get Noah Syndergaard, you really didn't give up a whole lot. And I think to get a guy that could be if he pitches well, could be your 3, but is probably most likely going to be your 4 or 5. But like, to me, he kind of slots in and pushes the back end of that rotation. It extends it into the bullpen and gives you your long man. I love where that move was. And then the David Robertson move, they have, if I'm going to throw kudos out to anybody, Dombrowski, Jay, Bone with another 3-run bomb just now.
Love to see it.
Yeah, another. David Robertson, the picks that they got, or not the picks, the player that they got, they have really, Dombrowski has really done a really good job at building up this rotation or the back end of that bullpen, to the point where a couple of years ago the bullpen was essentially the worst part of that bad team. And now they've kind of built it up with Dominguez and now David Robertson. You got Brad Hand. You got a lot of good guys at the back end of that bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with obviously the addition of Robertson, and I think if I'm not mistaken, we gave up. Was it Ben Brown?
Ben Brown, yeah.
So Ben Brown, and I was wrong. I said we gave up Moniak. Oh no, we gave up Moniak.
Moniak was in the Syndergaard deal.
Yeah, and another lower level guy. But Ben Brown is probably the best prospect we gave up in the 3 deals, besides the catcher.
O'Hoppe.
Logan O'Hoppe. But my thing is everyone was flipping out about that. And it's like, oh, how can we give up our best hitting prospect? But the bottom line was Logan O'Hoppe was not going to play here. And if for those people that were saying, well, then we should have kept him and saved him for another bigger deal. Like, listen, we need to make the playoffs now. I'm not worried about 2 or 3 years from now when we might be able to make another trade for a bigger name player. Like, and the other thing that's frustrating is like everyone wants to bash Brandon Marsh and they're like, oh, the guy can't, his OPS is under 600 and blah, blah, blah. And the guy can't hit. But like, I don't listen to like Twitter wannabes. I listen to people that actually know what they're saying and know that are around the team. And who better to listen to than a guy like Ruben Amaro Jr., who was absolutely raving about Brandon Marsh, said that the guy is probably a steal that we got this guy. He's only 24 years old, and it's only his second full season. I believe he just turned 25, but
but he's got 5 years of control.
Yeah. So
which to me says that says,
listen,
we're bringing you in. You're going to be the center fielder.
I mean,
try to fix the hitting as best as you can, but he's a plus defender. He's got speed. Like the batting part you can fix.
Well, he's 20, like I said, he's 20,
and he's young.
He was a second round pick in 2016, so he's not a slouch. He's definitely, got potential. He has not hit his ceiling. So yes, he is struggling offensively. He's hitting, I believe, 239. But the guy, as I said, he's a plus defender. He's not a Gold Glover, but he's a plus defender. And in this offense, you weren't realistically going to get a center fielder that can hit. I mean, obviously, the guy that was on the market that I thought of that I kind of wanted was Benintendi, but obviously that would have cost you a lot more in prospects. And Benintendi's a lot older. Marsh is like you said, a guy that can grow here in the team. And as I said, I'm not going to complain about giving up Logan O'Hoppe when like I said, he wasn't playing here. If we didn't have JT, it's a different story. If we were catcher starved, but we have other guys in the system. Logan O'Hoppe, like I said, I wish him well, but I think you had to make some deals, and that's what Dombrowski did. So honestly, I think they are set up to make a nice run here. Will it be enough? Obviously, time will tell. They're in a tough division, and there's some tough teams that they're kind of in a battle with here. But I think the Phillies, if they can, obviously, we didn't even talk about getting Segura and Harper back because that's like adding two bats. Well, 2.5 if you count Harper as 1.5.
Right. Like you're getting Segura back tonight. You're gonna get and I'm listening to Harper on the broadcast before we went on. Sounds like things are moving in the right direction for him. I think for me, I'm looking at those are plus bats that you're getting back into this, and you're going to insert them in this line. It's amazing to me that they've kind of elevated their play without two of their best hitters. And now, right, you're in a tie with St. Louis as of today for that last wild card. Atlanta and the Mets are kind of clearly above you in terms of you're probably 6.5 games back of Atlanta. I think you're battling St. Louis right now, right? You have to be better than St. Louis, and I don't see them catching the Padres. I don't see them catching the Braves. I think for me, I see you can, if you can put together a couple runs, you can start to maybe put a little bit of distance between you and St. Louis. But I feel like that's just going to go back and forth also, like the rest of the season.
Absolutely. I mean, I know obviously this is a deadline update, but obviously we also wanted to kind of look to the future and how this is going to turn out. But I think the biggest, I don't want to call it a surprise because I've always been an Alec Boehm fan, but I think the biggest the most exciting thing for me is to watch Alec Boehm grow this year, and he's back where he was in his rookie year. And you know, a lot of times guys in their sophomore year, they don't call it a sophomore slump for nothing. I mean, a lot of guys have that happen in baseball, especially. But Alec Boehm is a guy to me that obviously is the cornerstone of your future. He's not a guy that's going to hit 35, 40 home runs, but I still think he is filling out. And I think that within 2 or 3 years, he'll be averaging 25 home runs, maybe 20 to 25 a year. But he's a guy that's going to hit close to 300. We know he's not that good defensively, but I think down the line, you know, possibly he gets moved to first if they move Reese. But like I said, Alec Boehm is a guy, and I'm glad that we didn't give up on him, because there were so many people that, you know, were just ready to jump ship on Boehm, you know, and that would have been premature in my mind, because, you know, he's got a lot of talent. He was a first round pick, and you got to let these guys play. Like, that's the only way they grow, is to let them play. And too often with the Phillies, you know, we do give up on prospects too soon. I mean, we've talked about not wanting to overrate prospects and to the point where you're not going to make a deal if a guy's out there. But, you know, I think it's more so in the pitching line to me. I think the Phillies, for some reason, we struggle when it comes to pitching prospects. And that's why I don't want to give up a guy like Painter, because he's got such a high, I guess we'll call it a ceiling. Like, he could be number one eventually. But, I mean, we've had, obviously, Cole Hamels, Aaron Nola,
right?
And now, you know, like I said, Painter. But hitting-wise, we have given up prospects too soon. And it's you know,
yeah, I mean,
throughout history of the Phillies.
Look at yeah, in recent history, right? J.P. Crawford, right, is a guy that, you know, was an average to okay player here, and you know they moved on from him, and you know has thrived in Seattle, right, to the point where he's, you know, doing really well defensively, right? Wins a Gold Glove, just yeah, that to me is just a little bit of I think what you're talking about, but I'm jonesing for those days in October, Jay. Those red Octobers where, like, you have the Phillies on in the afternoon, and then there's an Eagles game, right? They're like the level of importance in all of those games goes up exponentially. I'm just excited for the next phase of this team, which is to really play important games down the stretch, and then, you know, secure a playoff and play in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, just think about how exciting it was, you know, back from like 2006 to 2011. I mean,
oh my
the
God,
excitement was you know, every year got trumped by the previous year. I mean, even, you know, obviously the '08 World Series, you know, was the only one that culminated in a championship. But I mean, 2009, I was just as stoked, if not more stoked, than I was in 2008. Because I'm not going to lie, I didn't expect 2008. Even though I knew the Phillies were good, I didn't think they were that good to the point they were going to win a World Series. And in 2009, obviously, they had Cliff Lee. And then, of course, 2010, they trumped that and they go out and get Roy Halladay. Now, my only wish is that they had kept Cliff Lee in 2010, because I think maybe, you know, maybe they go to a World Series again then.
You could have. Yeah, you could have.
But, yeah, so pretty amazing thing if we can make the playoffs here. I mean, like I said, I don't foresee it being easy, but I think that the Phillies have shown me one thing this year that I haven't seen in previous, you know, the last few years teams, and that's like they have not only do they have a fight in them, but they have tenacity. They have like this ability to overcome adversity because, they'll go on a 3-game losing streak and then they'll win against the Braves. And then they lose 13-1 against the Braves, and then they come out and they win the huge game the other day. So I think
right, and that game they come back, right? They don't get that run production until late in the game from Castellanos. I think, Jay, I think we're seeing with each one of our teams, right, with the Eagles, the Sixers, and at least the Phillies, there's a lot of addition by subtraction, right? So, and it's more of like the mental subtraction than it is anything else. The Eagles get rid of Wentz, right? So now everybody kind of rallies around Hurts, and now you start to build that Hurts, right? We talked about it last night, that building on that positivity with you're not hearing any negative stuff come around or out of Eagles camp. The Sixers get rid of Simmons, right? You bring in Harden, and you didn't really see it at the end of the season, but you're seeing it over the summer, right? You're seeing a lot of camaraderie. You're seeing a lot of team building, a lot of team things. The Phillies didn't get rid of a player, but they got rid of Girardi, right? And they all rallied around, Thompson. And to me, it seems like after those player/coach was subtracted, it boosted the team to be able to kind of really start to benefit from rallying around each other and playing together.
Yeah, I mean, that's spot on. I never even really thought of it that way, but that's a great insight there, Don.
Yeah. Just something I thought about. Like you're looking at like those guys, those guys held down so much weight for that team because everything was everything was so ominous with those players or coach around, and getting rid of that stress, right? It's like getting rid of that really ominous thing, and now you're able to you're seeing young guys, right? You're seeing you mentioned Bohm. Stott's another guy that has really started to thrive and be able to put balls in play, be able to get really good contributions from him, right? You see a guy like Derek Hall who's coming up, who's contributing and kind of filling in for Harper when we didn't think we were going to get any kind of production from him. We are. I just like the idea that you're really starting to build around that team aspect, which is a huge piece for them to be able to make a playoff run, right? And if I'm looking ahead at the schedule, right, so tonight is the first out of 4 from Washington. Jay, I think they play 11 more games against the Nationals. And the Nationals now, literally, besides Victor Robles, they really don't have anybody. So it's really going to be important to capitalize on winning those games. And then they play Miami at home, and then they go on the road. Then they go on the road for 3 with the Mets, and then they go on the road. They go to Cincinnati to take us, a week and a half out. I'm looking at I'm going to look at the next 2 series. Right, so you got 4 against the Nationals and you got 3 against Miami. To me, you have to take out of those 7 games at least 5, maybe 6. What do you think?
You're talking about
the next 7 upcoming games. So you got 4 against the Nationals through Sunday, and then you have Miami Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, I think 4-7 is good. I mean, the Nationals are so bad that I could see them sweeping.
And listen, there's no reason.
Hold on, is it a 4-game set?
Yeah, they play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I could see them winning 5 of the 7, honestly, which would be nice because if you win 5, what's their record now? 55? It'd be 60. 60 wins, I think. Hold on. No, 56 wins. So, yeah, it would be 61 wins.
Okay.
That would be what, 5-2? Yeah, 61 and 50. So they'd be 11 games over 500. I mean, I think it's now or never where you could start kind of like taking apart big chunks of this deficit and maybe buying yourself some space or overstepping one of the other teams. I mean, obviously, there's some tough. There's tough competition. I think obviously Padres are going to be probably wild card one.
Okay.
But I mean, I still think as much of a deficit they are in compared to the Braves and Mets, I still could see some regression from both the Braves and Mets because I think the Braves and Mets have been absolutely phenomenal. The first 60% of the season.
Enough that they could be caught.
I don't know if they'll catch the Mets, but I think they could catch the Braves.
Okay.
But they have to win head to head. And that's
and
where
those are going to be the kick.
And that's where you catch them. And you can't lose the games that you need to win. You can't lose to the bottom feeders. So you're going to have to beat the Nationals 4 times. You're going to have to take these chunks of games. Like you're going to have to beat the Pirates again. You're going to have to beat, the bottom tier guys to kind of gain your ground.
Gotcha.
That's how you're going to do it. That's the only way you're going to do it.
Truly. Listen, I'm all for anything that's going to get me closer to Red October, Jay. Anything that's getting me closer to having playoff basketball. About to say playoff basketball, playoff baseball. It's been so long. I think that this team has the ability to be able to. They have a solid lineup, right? They're not making bonehead mistakes defensively. The back end of their bullpen seems to be facilitating exactly what it needs to do to be able to secure the wins when you get quality starts. I think that the sky is the limit for this team to be able to secure that last wild card spot. And once you're in, Jay, all bets are off.
Agreed. 110%.
Anything else, brother, you want to add before we bounce out of here? And
no, this was actually pretty cool. I like these shorts. We'll have to do more.
Definitely do them more. Listen, if you haven't checked out our sponsors, you go to our social media, go to our link tree. You're going to check out La Terrain Luxury Watches, Team Clicks, Shocked Energy, and you're going to check out Streaker Sports. And then turn those alerts on, turn those subscriptions on, and get those alerts. And we'll catch you on the flip side. As Rich would like to say, you stuck around, we fucked around, and you found out. Later. Go Phils.